Hi guys, welcome to my video. So in this video I'm going to be reviewing one of our first Malaysian found footage horror film. It's called IRUL, The Ghost Hotel. So let's go. Before we kick off the review, I'd first like to speak about the genre, the subgenre itself. It's called found footage horror film, and that's the genre. So this subgenre was initiated by Cannibal Holocaust in 1980, and it became a sensation in 1999 in the Blair Witch Project. And following that, there were many movies who adapted these subgenres. And if you guys are found footage horror film fans, you would have noticed this technique in Quarantine, Cloverfield, Paranormal Activity, The Grave Encounters. But in Malaysian market, it became famous after Highland Tower, but it was used in 2011 in a film called Seru. So this genre is mostly used in horror films. So following these two Malaysian found footage horror film, IRUL is the next one, and in the Malaysian Tamil Indian film market, IRUL is considered the first found footage horror film. This film is produced by Kumar Pictures and directed by Premnath. They both collaborated in a film before this. It's Rise Ini Kalila, so this is their second collaboration together. So yeah, let's now move on to the review. So firstly, I'm going to speak about what I consider the strength, or what I think I liked in this film. I think IRUL, being the first Malaysian Tamil found footage horror film, it set a benchmark among the Malaysian Tamil horror industry, because we've been seeing the same type of film, but this subgenre is new. It's fresh among the industry, and I think more filmmakers should make or use more new horror subgenres to entertain fans, because audiences, they wouldn't want to see the same thing being repeated again and again. It's going to be boring because the format is just the same. So I think this is a great attempt in terms of that. Secondly, I think the props and setting in this film, I think I could travel with the film, with the scenes, because of the props and settings. I could feel the ambience, I could feel the area, and I could, understand. The anticipation was there, in other words, because of the props and setting. I think in terms of that, the art directors in this film did a great job, and Premnath himself did a great homework in terms of choosing the venue or the location. So hats off to that. Thirdly, I think the technicalities, because this being a found footage horror film, if you are a found footage horror film fan, you would know that the actors have to be well rehearsed, because sometimes there will be scene that they will have to act for a long sequence or a long shot. And so in terms of that, I think the actors did well in delivering the scenes, and along the line there were also stunts. So yeah, I think they did a great job in terms of that. We can't really speak about the lighting or the cinematography, because in this format it's impromptu. All you require is a vlog material, so tracking the actors is, I think, fair enough, or would do the job. Though some audiences who watch this may not be able to, they wouldn't really like it because it's shaky. Old people. But I think this is targeted mostly to young audiences, so I think it did a decent job. One last thing that I liked about this film is the fact that the horror elements, the ghosts, was not overused, or the elements, because in some found footage horror film, if you overuse, the anticipation wouldn't be there. The audiences may lose their interest. But for example, The Grave Encounters, so if you have watched the film, you will understand what I'm saying. So in terms of that, it was well done by the director, Mr. Premnath. So hats off to you in terms of that. So these are what I consider to be the strength in this film. So now let's move on to what I think could have been improved in this film. So now I'm gonna speak about what I consider to be the weakness, or what I think could have been improved in this film. So firstly, it is the screenplay, because I felt the inconsistency in the plot or the flow of it in the first half. The second half was just okay. I mean, the anticipation was there, but the first half, because there were scenes, it was outstanding, and then it was dull. It was outstanding, it was dull. So the pace, I mean, the flow of it, it wasn't consistent. But I think if it was consistent, it would have been a lot better. That is something that I think could have been improved. Following that, I would consider the dubbing an issue, because this being a found footage horror film, the audio and video has to sync. It has to, because it is a found footage. So if that element was well done, I think the film would have been a lot better, because horror film fans may lose their interest when it doesn't sync. I mean, yeah, but nevertheless, this film did a great job, regardless that dubbing issue, because the anticipation was well balanced in this film. Following that, I would consider the dialogue delivery being a weakness or a pull-off in this film, because I don't know if it was designed that way in the script, or if it was the delivery by the actors, but something felt a little off in this film. First half is where it's mostly dialogue driven, so yeah, I felt a lot of this issue in the first half. So for the bottom line, I would consider IRUL, Ghost Hotel, a decent job done in entertaining me as a horror film fan. And yeah, considering it being the first Malaysian Tamil found footage horror film, I think it did a great job in setting a benchmark among other horror filmmakers in the Tamil film industry in Malaysia. And I would highly recommend other horror filmmakers to explore more subgenres and entertaining the film audiences with new subgenres, because currently we're just witnessing the same type of horror elements used. So I think this is one of the most brave attempt that has been tried by Malaysian filmmakers, and yeah, Premnath, hats off to you in terms of that. Besides that, considering the pros and cons that I spoke about earlier, I would rate this film 3/5. That is my opinion about this film. As a film fan, I would my request would be for the Malaysian film audiences to support our local content and help filmmakers like this grow, because they have potential. So yeah, if you guys have the opportunity, please watch this film, support this film, and yeah, support local content. That's about it. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you guys have anything to discuss about, comment below. We could speak. I would love to discuss with you guys about horror or films or anything at all. So yeah, have a great day ahead. Thank you so much for watching.